if you see fit to send me my one true love. Thank you!
So, for as long as I can remember, Galactus has not just been my favorite comic book character, but my favorite fictional character of all time. And this trailer has finally given me an excuse to talk about him. Now, there is a lot I want to say about him, so I'm going to divide this video into 3 sections. His origins, history, and character, his adaptations in media such as television, film, and video games, and finally, why I am so excited about his adaptation in the new Fantastic Four film. So without wasting any more time,
we have our heading.
Here we go!
The year is 1966. 2 of the biggest names in the comic book industry at the time, Jack Kirby and Stan Lee, were trying to think of a new villain for their new flagship superhero team, the Fantastic Four. But they wanted this antagonist to be completely different from every other villain created at the time. They wanted him to be beyond good and evil. And then one of them jokingly said, "Why can't he just be hungry?" So the story starts off with the Silver Surfer looking for the next planet for Galactus to eat. That's when Uatu the Watcher notices him and tries his best to make the Earth look like it cannot sustain any life. And that fails very badly. He then proceeds to approach the Fantastic Four and tells them, "Hey, your planet is screwed unless we can stop the Silver Surfer."
Sounds like a regular wacko, a real son of a bitch. I'll keep my peepers peeled for that guy.
Later on, they do find him, but it's too late. The Silver Surfer has already alerted Galactus of the planet. And then, a split second later, the thing just punches him off the building. Yeah! And then, almost on cue, there's Galactus.
What are you supposed to be, a disappointment?
Gonna be honest, don't like this Christmas tree look, and I'm glad they changed it in literally the next issue. Anyway, Galactus, now supporting his iconic purple color scheme and also lack of pants, begins to argue with the Watcher about why he would interfere with his next meal. The Fantastic Four, not wanting their planet to be next on the menu, attempt to fight Galactus, and you can guess how that went. I feel like we're forgetting about someone. Oh yeah, that's right!
You don't have to be the bad guy. You are the most talented, most interesting, and most extraordinary person in the universe. And you are capable of amazing things because you are the special. And so am I. And so is everyone.
Now back to the Fantastic Four. They're trying their best to stop Galactus from eating the Earth. And that's when the Watcher decides to tell Johnny, "Hey, if you get this little doohickey from Galactus's ship, he will stop eating the planet." And Johnny's like, "Bet," and whizzes off to Galactus's ship. As he does this, the Silver Surfer arrives and helps the Fantastic Four try to slow down Galactus. But of course, they're going up against Galactus. You can figure out how this goes. Hey, he's got pants now. A little while later, Johnny comes back with the device, the ultimate nullifier. Basically, it can erase anything from existence. Reed Richards takes the device from Johnny and shows it off to Galactus, threatening him that he would use the device on him if he were to eat the planet. The two then strike a deal that if Reed returns the device, Galactus won't eat the Earth anymore. Galactus decides to leave the planet to look for another one to consume, and also disowns the Silver Surfer. But hey, the day is saved, and now there's a new cosmic superhero on Earth. The end. Now, after this comic trilogy released, a lot of questions were asked about Galactus, such as,
Who is this creature? Who? What is he? What? How did he come to be there? How? Hush.
way before the Big Bang ever happened, there used to be a universe, and in that universe lived a tiny little space explorer named Galen. Now, little Galen noticed that the universe was going to end, and he decides to pilot his little spaceship into the heart of the cataclysm which will destroy his universe. As he does this, the embodiment of the universe decides to merge with him and infuse him with cosmic energy. Sounds a little bit familiar if you ask me. Anyway, the Big Bang happens and Galen manages to survive into the next universe. But now there's a new big problem that Galactus has to deal with in this new universe: his never-ending hunger. Galactus would later discover that the only thing that can satiate his hunger is planets containing life. After many years has passed, Galactus would one day stumble upon a planet where a single inhabitant tried to convince him not to eat his planet. And this man was Norrin Radd. Norrin would offer a deal to Galactus. If he didn't consume his planet, he would help him find other planets that sustained life. Galactus agreed to the offer and converted Norrin Radd into his herald, the Silver Surfer. And the rest is history. Over the years, his character would get expanded much more. He would gain new powers such as size alteration, the ability to manipulate time, space, and matter, and in one of my favorite comic book runs, he gained the ability to create life. Other comics would later explore more about how taxing and emotionally numbing his role in the universe is of consuming these planets. And other comics would go into how extremely lonely he is and how he would gain comfort from just having conversations with his heralds. And the more you read about Galactus, you kind of feel bad for him. Like, he didn't want any of this. Oh, and remember a while back when I mentioned Jack and Stan wanted Galactus to be more than good and evil? Well, there's times when Galactus actually helps out the superheroes, and he's not completely against life either. And that's what I love about Galactus. Sure, he may be this unstoppable force of nature, but under all those layers, he's just a man trying to live with his tragic circumstances. And this makes me a bit sad when it comes to adaptations of him. They never really include any of those deeper layers to his character. Oh, and speaking of those adaptations, okay, we're gonna try to get through this very quick because he did appear in quite a few things. I'm not gonna include any cameos because they're cameos, he didn't really do much. I'll be going through each adaptation from the year they were released, from earliest to latest, and I'll give like a little review of how I felt about the adaptation. So then, let's start with his appearances in television. The 1967 Fantastic Four cartoon. He only appears in one episode, and it's a one-to-one retelling of the comic I just summarized not too long ago. It's a pretty good episode, and if you like comic book accuracy, I would recommend it. Why is he green again? 7.5 out of 10. The 1994 Fantastic Four cartoon. I personally really love his appearance in this cartoon. First of all, he is voiced by the legendary Tony Jay, who many of you may know as the voice of Frollo in The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Mortal or demon, whichever you be gone.
I'm guiltless. She ran, I pursued.
Second of all, you actually get to see quite a few of his heralds, like Terrax and Nova. Thirdly, this is one of the only times where we get to see Galactus be morally grey, and actually helps the heroes out with Ego, the living planet. Yeah, this appearance is just absolutely phenomenal. 10 out of 10. Silver Surfer. Despite the really weird choice of making him CGI, I do think this cartoon also did him pretty well. Actually, you should also watch this cartoon. It's really fucking good.
Whoa!
Superhero Squad. Look, it's Superhero Squad. Just take any integrity a character has and just throw it out the window. Everyone's treated like a joke. He's treated like a joke. But hey, the jokes they do with him are pretty funny.
That toll booth won't hold him back forever. If he finds a roll of quarters, we're sunk.
But he only appears in 2 episodes, so there's not much content there. I would give it a 6.2 out of 10. Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes. First of all, watch this show. This is one of the best Marvel cartoons to ever exist. But it did some interesting takes with Galactus. First of all, he doesn't speak, which can make him a bit more intimidating in some scenes. Secondly, instead of just one herald helping him out, he's got several of them. And thirdly, the way they defeated him is something completely unique that I've never seen done before.
We're sending him to the negative zone.
Antimatter. Galactus consumes antimatter. And the negative zone
is full of antimatter energy.
Oh, and once again, he only appears in 2 episodes, so content is scarce. 8 out of 10. Hulk and the Agents of Smash. Contrary to the very low rating of this show, I personally like the episode season. They do some pretty interesting concepts in the 2 episodes he appears in. One was coming to Earth to make She-Hulk his herald, and the other one was having some beef with Ego. He's also voiced by one of my favorite voice actors, John DiMaggio, who many of you may recognize as Jake the dog from Adventure Time.
Your resistance is futile, mortals. I will feed on this world.
Dude, let's kill the horse.
7 out of 10. Avengers Assemble. Okay, I have my issues with this show. I personally do not like it that much. It does have its moments, but it's not for me. And also their use of Galactus is very uninteresting. Hey, would you look at that? John makes a return as the voice of Galactus again. Also, guess how many episodes he appears in? 4 out of 10. Well, that's television done. Time for video games. Marvel Ultimate Alliance. I fucking love this game. First of all, he is the only villain character to have more than one CGI cutscene that isn't Doctor Doom. Secondly, the way they implemented him in his level is so, at some point in the game, you have to get a little MacGuffin from Galactus. And Galactus, at that point, is busy consuming the Skrull planet. So the first chunk of the level, you're inside of a building. But once you get outside, you just see him walking around. He's paying no attention to you at all. He's only focused on consuming the planet. But it's when you start messing with his stuff that he decides to chase you down. And this whole thing is amazing. And of course, with some help from the Silver Surfer, you're able to stop him from eating the Skrull planet. This game just does everything right. 10 out of 10. Superhero Squad, the video game.
Leave me alone!
Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Look, fighting games generally don't do much with characters, but with what little there is, I still really like what Capcom did with him in this game. I also really like the mode where you play as Galactus and beat up all the heroes. 7 out of 10. Lego Marvel Superheroes. Now this game holds a special place in my heart because it was the game that introduced me to Galactus. Now of course, this is a Lego game, he's gonna be treated like a joke. But this adaptation is a fun one and I gotta love it. 10 out of 10. His voice does sound a little familiar though. I wonder who provides his voice.
You can't keep getting away with it!
And finally, Fortnite. I liked it, and so did the people who are working on the new Fantastic Four film. More on that later. 7 out of 10. And now we're on to films, and surprisingly he's been in more than one. Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer. Negative infinity out of 10.
And if you ever try anything like this again, I will kill you.
Lego Marvel Avengers, Mission Demolition. Why is he a vacuum cleaner? 2 out of 10. Okay, are filmmakers just allergic to giving Galactus a humanoid form in a film? Oh, if only there was a film where Galactus was comic book accurate. Let's talk about the new Fantastic Four film. I'm so glad they decided to use his comic book look for this movie. Like, even though it's hard to see, you can still make out his purple and blue color scheme. Also, I really love the decision they made of adding these tiny little lights all over his dumb helmet. But man, I wish we could see more of him. Have you guys heard of San Diego Comic-Con? So last year at this convention, they had a little panel for the Fantastic Four film, and it ended with a little video of Galactus peering through a window. Now obviously for legal reasons I can't play it, but I can show photos. Now I've tried to Frankenstein together what this could possibly look like, and honestly I like what I see so far. The only thing that I'm really upset about it is that he doesn't have his square eyes, but sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. Ugh. And also in that video, the whole room vibrated just from his movements. Like, this tells me the IMAX viewing of this film is going to be amazing. And you know what else is gonna vibrate the whole room? His voice. Galactus will be voiced by Ralph Ineson, and just listen to this.
Everybody kind of saying, is there anything anybody wants to keep or that we didn't carry over? And I said, I want that scene.
10 out of 10 casting. You know, his face wasn't the only thing that was revealed at San Diego Comic-Con. We also possibly got his theme music. So it was revealed at the end of the panel during a drone show. And obviously, since it was outside, the quality of the audio is very mixed. And listen, this shit sounds ominous as fuck. And speaking of ominous, let's go back to that little footnote I said we should make about Fortnite.
Kevin Feige
has stated in an interview that he showed footage from the Galactus event in Fortnite to the crew of the film. Now, we don't exactly know what they may have taken, but I did notice one thing in the trailer they definitely took from the game. Galactus creeping over the city from the planet's horizon. But if they add stuff like going into the nooks and crannies of his armor, the fight scenes are gonna be absolutely amazing. I have so much hope that the people behind this film gave Galactus the respect he deserves. And I mean, the director even loves him, like that's gotta mean something. Well, all that's left now is to wait for the darn thing to come out, and I can assure you, I will be there day one to watch this fantastic film.
Say that again?